How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sane, and today I'm going to be doing a little ranking of all of the crests in Fire Emblem Three Houses. As I've been playing more, there's just been some crests that stand out to me as so just utterly amazing, and some that seem like they're pretty okay. Overall, I've come to the opinion that if you have a crest, you're just overall a better unit than other units. I mean, like, that fact alone gives you an edge over some other units, so it's very, very, very prominent thing in this game, and while they're somewhat inconsistent. Whenever they show up, they're always just added effects that are always so good. So I am just going to kind of rank them all. I think this ranking I'll kind of mix it and match it as I go and place things differently as we go, but I'm just gonna kind of get started and go through it. Let's get first started with Ernest. I'm just gonna go on this list on Senator's Forest, go down this list. The Crest of Ernest, which is only bared by Anna, stops enemy counterattacks when using a weapon. I think that's overall just good. Like, it's not something you can rely on, but it can just stop an enemy attack. Like, it can just stop a whole attack. I'm going to change the background color to... let's do white. Something like that, so they can be seen a little bit better. Yeah, you can just do that. Yeah, I think it's just stopping enemy counterattacks can just be very nice, especially for... I mean, Anna's a terrible unit, but just stopping enemy counterattacks is just very useful. Just especially in maddening, like this is all gonna be considering maddening. Like you're gonna have to go up and do some chip damage, so and it could be using a weapon. So put it on a bow user while they do chip damage, they could just stop a counter. Actually, no, it wouldn't do anything for a bow. It's just like if you're going up and hitting him with like say Wrath Strike or even just going up and just hitting them for any damage, you can just stop their counterattack and not have to take damage. So that's just whenever it shows up, that's just super useful. So I'm gonna put that in A. McQueel, Crest of McQueel. Macule, I think it is. Occasionally raises might during magic attacks. Again, that one's gonna be S tier, honestly. Like, it's only on the wind color. I don't think it's on any students or any characters in the game, but just the idea of just just the whole idea of randomly increasing your damage like that, like there's no drawback to that. Just as you're attacking, sometimes you're gonna do more damage. Like that's just broken. That's amazing. That's gotta be like the best, probably the best ability in the whole game. Next is gonna be the Crest of Saros, which is on Edelgard. Edelgard bears the minor version, and then Rhea and Geralt have the major, so only Edelgard has this, but it is little. Occasionally raises might during combat arts. You're gonna use a lot of combat arts, especially Edelgard is gonna use Smash a lot, so I'm gonna say that's probably what do I put Ernest? Occasionally stops a counterattack. I'm gonna put these probably in the same. I'm probably gonna put that above the counterattack. The counterattack's nice and reliable, but I think overall just doing more damage is better. So I'll put that there. There's gonna all the ones that are gonna be raising combat arts and stopping counterattacks. I'm just gonna kind of throw in the same spot, right next to each other, because they're all the same thing. So I'll put that there. You're gonna use a lot of combat arts, so raising might randomly is just gonna be nice because you could get unexpected kills, which is nice. Next up is the Crest of Dominic, which is on a net and occasionally conserves uses of attack magic. I overall don't think that's that great. Where's the Crest of Dominic? This one. I'm gonna put that kind of down here. It conserves, yeah, it conserves attack magic, which I mean, it conserves uses, but like that, it's kind of just nice. Like overall, I don't think it's a bad thing to have at all. It's more useful than it is unuseful, but there's just so many better skills on there. You can just kind of plan around your attack magic. I mean, it could be really nice when it comes in for like bolting or something, but at least for this one, it's on a net, so it's not really doing much for her. But yeah. Next was the Crest of Darius. Easy, easy, easy. Where is it? Crest of Fraldarius, what does it look like? Looks like that one. Easy S tier. Sometimes raises might when using a weapon. Same thing as the magic one. It'll just raise your might, and you just do more damage. It's so crazy, especially on Felix, where you give him gauntlets and he quads people, and sometimes he just raises might on at least like one of the four. Sometimes you can get four of the four, so you're doing just so much damage. It's so like it's actually one of the ones you can rely on. Sometimes, I mean, like with gauntlets, I feel like you can rely on it showing up more often than not, but I still wouldn't rely on it really. But like it just comes out. It'll just like show up very often. And it's just so useful. It's just like free damage, just more damage. That's crazy. Next up is the Crest of Noah, which is on constants. Does not consume use during magic attacks. Same thing. That's gonna go here. Just like I feel like all the magic ones are all we're gonna be here probably. I'm gonna put them in D just for now. I'll separate things once I have them all on the list. Sometimes raises. Next is the Crest of Kathleen, which is on Flame and Lindhart. Sometimes raises might when using recovery magic. Now that one I think is actually good. It just buffs your healing ability. You're gonna heal better. I think that one's actually raises might when using recovery. Yeah, you know that one's gonna be S. I'm gonna put that one in S tier. That's the same thing. It's just, sometimes you just heal more. Like it'll activate and you just heal more. Like your physic, like for Linhardt those physics, and for Flame that like recover and fortify, all that stuff. But just put that on any healer, and sometimes they just heal more. That's so useful. That's so useful. Yeah, I'm gonna put that up there. I'm gonna put that below the other two. I think Fraldarius first, um, Mac McQueel, Macule second, and then Kathleen third. I think weapon, magic, and then healing magic is the order. But that's just like it's always useful. That's always useful. Next up is Daphne, and this is the Crest of Daphne on Ingrid. Sometimes raises might when using combat arts. It's gonna be the same thing as the Crest of Saros, so it's just gonna be there too. Sometimes raises might when using combat arts. It's just very useful ability. Let's do this. Let's move them all down just so I have S tier open for things. And I'll move things back around. Next is the Crest of Bloodied on Dimitri, and this one occasionally doubles attack and weapon uses for combat arts. So your Tempest Lance can double sometimes. Easy S tier for me. You usually use Tempest Lance for on Dimitri just to do a huge chunk of damage, like a huge chunk of damage, and sometimes it'll just double. Sometimes you'll just double and just one shot things for you. Like you can't. If you could rely on it, it'd be absolutely the most broken thing ever. I mean, you tear through your weapon uses, but like, who cares? You just one shot a disgusting enemy. Like you can one shot the Death Knight if this thing activates with like a Steel Lance Night Kneeler or something. On maddening mode, you can one shot the Death Knight if he just does it. It's insane. It's such a like it's crazy. And if you don't want it to activate, just keep a lance that has less than. I mean, I don't really know why you wouldn't want it to activate because it just does stupid amount of damage. And honestly, just repairing a lance isn't that much. It's not that big of a deal. Or just buying a new lance or something. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, it can be a bit of a bummer if you use it with like your brave lance, if you're using a brave lance or something. But why would you use a combat art with a brave lance? So yeah, just yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. I don't know if I want to put it above these ones or not. But I'm gonna put it in S tier for now. I'll put it with these grouped with those. Who's next? The Crest of Gloucester occasionally raises might during magic attacks. It's on Lysithea and Lawrence. This one is amazing. Same as those. It's the same thing as the Macule. Raises my during magic attacks. Raises my during magic attacks. It's good. Super good. Super, super, super good. The Crest of Goneril, which is on Hilda, sometimes allows combat arts to prevent enemy counterattacks. I feel like that's using a weapon. So, where's the ability? This one, the Crest of Earnest, is pretty much the same thing, although this one is if you use combat art, which I don't honestly know which one's better. I think weapon would just be better, but I feel like you're using combat arts way more than weapon attacks in maddening. So I'm gonna give it to combat arts because yeah, you're using combat arts more than you're using weapon attacks. So I'm just gonna give it to. It gives another reason to use. It gives another boost to combat arts, which are all really good. So I'll put that slightly above, but they're pretty much the same thing. I would argue that they can jump back and forth. I'm just gonna give combat arts just simply because you're most likely using those more in maddening. Next is the Crest of Keyhole, which is on Seth and Ferdinand. Sometimes lets combat arts prevent counterattacks. Same thing. Yeah, same thing as Goneril. Just prevents counterattacks. I'm actually going to put these counterattack ones over here. So all of these ones that just increase the might go up. They could actually go higher. They could go up here. I might do that. Yeah, I'll do that. Why not? And these are the counterattacking ones. Cool, what's next? The Crest of Aubin, which is on Yuri. It's another counterattack of using prevents counterattacks when using a weapon. Again, the same thing, it's just gonna go here. Next up, it's got the Crest of Gautier. This occasionally raises might when using combat arts, and it's on Sylvain, who is a very good combat art user with Smash and Tempest Lance and Swift Strike, so amazing, amazing, amazing. Going up here. Put it here. Let's see, next is the Crest of Indek, which is on Bernadetta. It's on Hanneman. Interesting, I didn't know that. I did not know it was on Hanneman. And it occasionally allows weapon attacks that strike twice. I think that's really, really good. I mean, not for Hanneman as much, but for like Bernadetta, just the occasional free follow-up attack, and it doesn't like if you're already doubling, you get 3 attacks. That's why it's so good. I'll put that up here. I'm gonna do this. You are the same thing, right? Yeah. Let's see what I just put there. In deck, yeah. Allows it to strike twice. That's just like a free follow-up attack. It's pretty much the same thing as this, but this is more combat art. This is more attack, so these can switch around. Wait. Yeah, it's weapon attack, so it's not gonna be combat art, but like it's gonna be really good for like Breda's archery and just normal attacks. Like it just an occasional free follow-up attack that'll act on your turn too if it activates. Or like it'll act on the first round of like the first hit, so you'll get like a double and then they'll attack and then you get your follow-up attack. It could just be really nice. It's just like free unexpected damage, and it's gonna do more than these two than these will. So yeah, I think these two are just, since they're all kind of unexpected damage, these two are gonna do more because it's a whole like it's a whole follow-up attack. Like it's a whole new attack. These ones are all just more damage to whatever attack you have. Of course, they have like they can trigger on multiple hits, but I feel like these two are more reliable for just like maximum damage. In terms of maximum damage, like these two are going to be more reliable. Next is the Crest of the Beast. It is on Marianne. And this sometimes raises might when using a weapon. Same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing as these ones. Oh, I'm gonna put it higher than Fraldarius just because it's cooler. No, Fraldarius is on a better unit, so yeah, I'll just do that. Doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Just increases my on weapon. It's not very good for Marianne, but hey, it's a good crest. Next is the crest of Karen. Sharon. Karen grows. Occasionally raises might when using combat art. Same thing. It's on Lysithea and Catherine. Much better on Catherine than it is Lysithea. Same kind of A tier. Yeah, A tier is just raising my combat arts, which is just good. It's reliable. It might actually be the same tier as all of these. I'm gonna do this. Just the raises might. Like the occasional raise might on any kind of attack, I think is all good. This is the counter attack. Yeah. Next is the Crest of Timotheus. Does not consume use for recovery magic. I do think that's better than it's on happy. I do think that's better than attack magic, just because you conserve uses of like warp and physic, which are overall more useful than attack magic. But I don't know if it's a whole tier higher. I'll put it. I'll put it there for now, but I don't necessarily think it's crazy. Then we have the Crest of Chevalier and Regan, which are the same. They do the same thing. Regan's on Claude, Chevalier's on Balthus. They both sometimes restore equal to 30% HP damage dealt when doing combat arts. And these are two good combat art characters, like Claude with Curve Shot and Enclosure, stuff like that. Balthus with Smash. I think over healing is not quite as good as, not nearly as good as just doing raw damage. So these two are going to go down here. Sometimes like it can give you back some health, especially if you, I don't know. Is it really that good? Are these ones better? These ones might be better than that? Ooh, that's the discussion. What's better, those ones? I'm looking at chat, I'm making a video. Hmm. I'm gonna put them as the worst. You recover, I mean, you can recover a lot of damage there, but I mean, I feel like recovering HP from something is something you'd want to rely on, but since crests are unreliable overall, they're not as good. I think these ones are going to be better. Just conserving your attacks and conserving your healing is going to be better overall. Crest of Lamine occasionally conserves uses of recovery magic. Yeah, that's going to be up there. It's on Mercedes and Yuritsa. Really good for Mercedes. She is Fortify, Physics, stuff like that. So that's going to be good. And then the last one is the Crest of Flames, which this one's going to be the best. I'm going to tell you right now. It's the best. Occasionally restores 30% HP of damage. Of just damage dealt. That's weapon and combat arts. So that's just outright better than these two. And it also can raise might and stop counterattacks. That just says that's for combat arts and weapon attacks. And magic attacks. That's literally for everything. Like you'll sometimes just heal and have increased might and have counter. You literally get increase of everything. Literally everything gets better. So that's going in its own tier of SS. The absolute best crest. It's on Edelgard and Byleth. Honestly, the fact that Edelgard gets it is pretty crazy. It looks like it's a lot of chances to stop counterattacks. No, just kidding. She gets to raise might a lot with combat arts. Then she can maybe stop counterattacks. Yeah, I'm gonna do like this for sure. For sure. Okay. Crest of Flames, absolute best crest in the game. So on Byleth, it's broken. You get like 3-1, but even more than that. It's just absolutely incredible. Then is the Crest of Blooddeed and Indec, which Crest of Blooddeed gives you a follow-up attack. Will sometimes double your combat art. Like let your combat art double. That'd be so crazy on Swift Strikes. You could quad people with Swift Strikes. But yeah, that one's just crazy. You could just sometimes obliterate your enemies. Crest of Index, you can sometimes get a follow-up attack on a normal attack. I'm gonna put all the combat art ones over normal ones because combat arts are just you're gonna be using them more. I mean, I guess the normal attack ones can activate on enemy phase, but they can't activate on enemy phase actually, which that's good. But this game's way more player phase, so I'm just gonna rank them as combat art ones first, weapon ones second. No, I'm not. Weapon ones first, combat art second. Combat arts are already good on their own, so yeah, I got the raises might when using weapons. Raises might when using combat arts. Which one's the raises might when healing? It's Kethlon. I think that's better than. I'm gonna put that worse than actually just doing damage. Yeah, I'll leave that as worse than doing damage. So Gloucester and Macule, Fraldarius and the Beast all just raise might on your normal attacks. Kathleen, raise might on recovery, magic. Saros, which one is this one? Saros, Karen, Charon, how am I blanking this right now? It's my favorite character, Gautier, and Daphnel. All raise your combat art might occasionally. These ones all stop counterattacks. This one's for combat arts, right? Keyhole for combat arts, as well as Goneril for combat arts. Which that one I'm definitely gonna play combat arts over normal attack because you're only gonna stop the counter attack on player phase. You're not gonna stop a counter attack on enemy phase because you're the counter attack. So it can't really activate for enemy phase. And you can do combat. You're doing combat arts on player phase, so that's why I'm gonna put the combat art ones first. These two are just normal weapon attacks. Conserve the use of recovery magic and conserve the use of attack magic. And then these ones, which just can occasionally heal you for combat arts, which I just don't think is that overall useful. So yeah, I like this list. I think this is the list I'm gonna go with. It's a couple of things. I think if they're in the same tier, they can move around, except for A. I don't think they can. I guess they could potentially move around. Maybe do an A minus. Do I do an A minus tier? I think I do. I'm gonna add row above. Do an A plus tier. Where I'm gonna throw these ones. Just because combat arts are already good enough on their own. While these ones will just help out normal attacks. Which usually have a higher trigger rate, so. I think it's also the characters that are used on, like the magic ones are like you don't have magic combat arts, so that's just better. Because that's their only attack, so you just get it. And then the Crest of Fraldarius is just so good on a Felix. especially when he's a grappler and is quadding people and just doing so much. Just like when he doesn't need to use combat arts and he just gets boosted at damage. That's part of the reason why he doesn't need to use combat arts all the time. For the Crest of Beast there, it's not above. These aren't really ordered. If they do the same thing, they're not ordered. Like if they have the same effect, they are not ordered. Like these two are not ordered at all. They do the same thing. These are just the two worst. It's not that this one is worse than this one. No, they are the worst. So yeah, this is gonna be my list. This is gonna be my final list. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you agree with some of these placings, if you think some crests should be moved around, like if you think all of these combat art might increases are better than the normal attack might increases, let me know. Let me know if you think I'm overrating these two. I think they're just so crazy, like crazy. I was tempted to put them up here, but I think the Crest of Flames just has so much going for it. That's so broken. But yeah, I think these ones are so incredible. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hope you liked this video. I haven't really seen a lot of Crest rankings around, so hopefully this blows up. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video where I go back to suffering in 3 houses. Maddening mode.